Do you ever wonder why your deepest insights about people feel more like a burden than a gift? Picture this. You're talking to a friend about their relationship, and you can sense exactly what's really going on. It's like watching a movie you've seen before, but when you point it out, they say you're reading too much into things. Or you walk into a room and immediately feel the tension nobody's talking about. But you've learned to keep quiet, because last time you mentioned it, people looked at you like you were from another planet. If any of these sound familiar, you've come to the right place. You are what Carl Jung called an introverted intuitive. And today we're diving into why your greatest gift has become your greatest curse. I've researched Jung's original insights and distilled them into a clear roadmap. By the end of this video, you'll understand the psychological mechanism behind this struggle, why it happens, and most importantly, how to transform this curse back into the powerful gift it was meant to be. You'll learn to bridge your inner wisdom with outer impact, ground your visions in practical reality, and step into your role as what Jung called an essential visionary. Jung literally said that without this type, there would have been no prophets, no visionaries, no one to see the deeper patterns that guide civilization forward. But here's where most people get stuck. They think having this gift should make life easier. So let's start by understanding exactly what this gift really is and why it feels so real to you. It's different from being shy. Shyness is about fear of social judgment. Introversion is more about how you respond to stimulation, including social stimulation. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people think you're just really intuitive or maybe a little psychic, but Jung discovered something way more profound than that. You're not making things up, you're not overthinking, and you're definitely not crazy. What you're actually doing is perceiving what Jung called inner objects, the psychological forces, emotions, and motivations that exist inside people's minds but aren't visible on the surface. These feel as solid and real to you as a mountain or river would to someone looking at it with their eyes. Here's the difference. Most people see the world through their five senses, what they can touch, hear, see. But you're seeing through what Jung called the unconscious, the part of the mind people aren't aware of, but that's constantly influencing their thoughts, feelings, and actions. You're picking up on the hidden patterns that drive how people act, patterns that everyone else completely misses. Remember that relationship situation with your friend? You weren't just guessing what was happening, you were actually seeing what Jung called an archetypal pattern. These are like universal templates for human behavior, the same basic stories and dynamics that repeat across all cultures and time periods. Basically, you recognized the same fundamental relationship drama that's been playing out for thousands of years, just with different people and details. Here's the thing nobody tells you. You have direct access to what Jung called the collective unconscious. This is like a shared psychological hard drive that contains the fundamental patterns of human experience. The hero's journey, the wise mentor, the transformation cycle. These aren't just stories. They're the actual blueprints that unconsciously guide everyone's behavior, and you can see them playing out in real time. This is why your insights feel like lightning bolts from nowhere. You're not building logical conclusions step by step. You're receiving complete holistic images from this deeper layer of reality. Jung said it perfectly. You perceive all the background processes of consciousness with almost the same distinctness as others register external objects. Now, this ability isn't random. Jung discovered you're part of an essential human type. He literally said, had this type not existed, there would have been no prophets in Israel. You're wired to perceive the invisible forces that shape our world. But here's where most people get stuck. They think this gift should make life easier. They expect others to understand their insights immediately. They believe their vision should translate seamlessly into practical success. And that's where the curse begins. Your greatest strength is about to become your biggest challenge. Here's what actually happens. The more you rely on your inner vision, the more disconnected you become from everything else. Jung discovered that when one part of your mind gets super strong, The opposite part gets weaker and weaker until it basically goes underground. For you, this means while you're getting amazing at reading people and seeing patterns, you're getting terrible at handling basic practical stuff. Jung called this your inferior function, and it's about to become your biggest enemy. Think about it. You can sense exactly what's wrong in someone's relationship, but you can't remember where you put your car keys. And you see the big picture solution to a complex problem, but you forget to pay your bills on time. You feel the emotional tension in a room instantly, but you struggle to keep your own physical space organized. This isn't just annoying, it's psychologically dangerous because your mind starts to view the practical world as the enemy. You begin to think that paying attention to details, managing schedules, or dealing with physical tasks is somehow beneath you or a waste of your visionary gifts. But here's the thing nobody tells you. When you ignore the practical world long enough, it doesn't just go away. It comes back to bite you hard. Jung found these ignored parts of yourself don't disappear. They build up pressure in your unconscious until they explode back into your life in unhealthy ways. Suddenly, you're having panic attacks about money, or you become obsessed with your health, or you get weirdly fixated on organizing one small corner of your life while everything else falls apart. This is why Jung said introverted intuitives live very difficult lives. Your greatest strength becomes your greatest weakness when it's not balanced. But don't worry, there's a way out of this trap, and it's not about giving up your gifts. So how do you break out? Most people think the answer is to either suppress their intuitive gifts or just try harder at practical stuff. Both fail miserably. Here's the truth. You don't need to choose between being a visionary and being functional in the real world. Jung discovered there's a third option, integration. But here's where it gets tricky. You can't just force yourself to become good at practical things. Remember that inferior function? It doesn't respond to willpower or effort. The harder you push, the more it resists. Jung found the only way to heal this split is through what he called individuation, learning to work with all parts of your psyche instead of fighting them. Think of it like becoming the CEO of your own mind rather than letting one department run everything. Here's what that actually means for you. First, start with grounding practices. This isn't mystical. It's about pulling your awareness into your body and environment. Take deliberate walks, focus only on what you can see, hear, feel, no analyzing, no pattern seeking, just pure sensory experience. Second, create systems for the practical stuff instead of relying on motivation. Your brain isn't wired for remembering details, so set up automatic reminders and simple routines for mundane tasks. Third, practice what Jung called active imagination. Instead of passively receiving visions, have conversations with them. Ask questions, challenge them, make them prove their value before you act. Here's what nobody tells you. When you stop fighting the practical world and start building bridges to it, your visionary gifts actually get stronger, not weaker. You become what Jung considered the integrated type, someone who accesses deep wisdom and applies it in ways that matter. You're not just a dreamer anymore. You're a grounded visionary who can change the world. Remember when your insights felt like a burden? Now you know you weren't broken. You were just operating with half your psychological toolkit. Integration isn't about perfection. It's dedication to the journey of working with all parts of yourself. As cliché as it sounds, success comes from loving the process, not just reaching some perfect destination. Practice, experience, and resilient effort beat natural talent alone. Your willingness to engage your inferior function is what transforms the curse back into the gift. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more on understanding and working with your psychology instead of against it. Leave a thumbs up if you're ready to stop seeing your visionary gifts as a burden and start building bridges between your inner and outer worlds. See you next time. Peace.